What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to WWE 2K19, my career mode. Today, it's time to enter the chamber. And so I welcome you to a fine Wednesday here on the show. Certainly there is some SmackDown things to discuss, but even before that, there is some stuff that happened or was announced or was rumored in the past day or so that needs to be talked about on this show. First and foremost, it seems like Trish and Lita was not a one-off thing for Evolution and Raw. Instead, the rumor is they'll be around until WrestleMania. And I think that, to me, says more than anything, they're going to have the culmination of this women's tag team titles will end up happening at WrestleMania. So that makes a whole lot of sense in more of a long-term booking scenario. But again, we'll see. Tye Dillinger is injured, so he was not on SmackDown last night. He had a hand injury, can't do his 10-10-10 thing, has to go get surgery on that. Hopefully not super long-term, but I guess we'll see. We had the arena for TLC has announced several matches for TLC in December. And one of them, Common Sense, which is Seth and Dean for the IC title. One of them, which is Braun versus Drew, but curiously not mentioning the Universal title. And as we've seen, usually arenas don't care about spoiling the results of events that haven't happened yet. It wouldn't be a surprise. But also, even more curious, that it says the Raw Women's Champion versus Nia Jax. And I'm like, Ronda's not defending at Survivor Series. She's fighting Becky Lynch in a champion versus champion match. The belts aren't on the line there. So when else would she possibly lose it before TLC? She's not going to lose it, so why doesn't it just say Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax? I don't know, but that is what they have done. Now then, the Crown Jewel business that has been kind of in the news in the past day or so. Number one, apparently Renee Young will be going to Crown Jewel and calling the show along with Cole and, I would assume, Corey Graves. And that's interesting. That's a cute little PR point for them. That's an interesting little pawn in their puppet scheme to have Renee Young actually call the show, considering they won't let any of the other women wrestlers wrestle on the show, but they'll let her commentate as to kind of mitigate, oh no, we're being progressive. Now, obviously, John Cena can no-show, and he's John Cena. It's not really going to affect him. He's going to Hollywood. Daniel Bryan has the clout to no-show because he's Daniel Bryan. He can go anywhere else in the world. He just wants to wrestle. So it is very much 0 Fs, fire me, go ahead, see what happens, right? But Renee Young, I would imagine, wants to keep her job. And Renee Young, having her tell us about how progressive this country is going to be just, come on. You know she doesn't believe that, because you know they won't let the women wrestle there on the show. That's the entire reason you even had Evolution in the first place, right? So that whole thing is, yeah, I get why you're doing it. And obviously, it wouldn't be happening if the princes didn't authorize it to happen as kind of, oh, right, here's a bit of goodwill for you after murdering a journalist, right? But besides that, the other part, the other pile on this pile of gigantic turds is Hulk Hogan. If you look at the Crown Jewel page on WWE.com under Appearing Superstars, scroll down to the bottom, oh look, there's Hulk Hogan. And I can almost understand why you would choose this event for Hogan to show up, right? Because you're already getting all of the bad press, right? That's already going to happen. It's already going to impact your stock price further, right? So you know what? If we're already going to have bad press, and you know that whenever and wherever you would be bringing back Hogan would be bad press, why not combine the bad press? Oh, good God!
This is not the kind of start Buzz wanted. And to make things worse, since Bray Wyatt's pod broke, he's now in the match. Are Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt going to work together to take on Buzz?
I mean, they have history. Why not do a fusion dance of bad news with both Crown Jewel and Hogan and just, you know what, we're already going to get crapped on by everybody for this event, so why not just combine that with the old racist man? Sure, why not? But also, that does offer up other questions, which is, will Hulk Hogan come out to his real American theme song in Saudi Arabia? Would that happen? And if it did, how would the crowd react to that? How would the Crown Princes react to that? I have to wonder. I have to wonder, Braun. I have to wonder. Oh, one good big boot deserves another here in the chamber. I'm going to just let Braun and Bray have themselves get hit and punched and not even deal with me in this equation. So that's kind of the stuff on Crown Jewel. Obviously, there are already superstars appearing and arriving in the country, as I've seen a bunch of photos on Instagram this morning. But, be that as it may, let us get on to our SmackDown discussion from last night. Now, if you're wondering about Daniel Bryan going to Crown Jewel and how he's not going to Crown Jewel, they had the title match last night. Opened the show with AJ and Daniel. We're going to have it right now, folks. And Bryan lost, as you assume he would have, even at the event itself, had he gone to the event. So that's not entirely surprising, right? But I think it is surprising that they had him tap out, which hasn't happened to him in a long time. A long time. So that's kind of curious that he tapped out. Is that his punishment for his character? Who knows? Again, Daniel Bryan is in a position to not really care what they do to him because he can go anywhere else and bring a bunch of eyeballs to any other competing organization, whether it be New Japan, Ring of Honor, CMLL, whatever. If the rumor of that Jericho-Jim Ross thing was true, he could go do that next year and bring a bunch of eyeballs to that thing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Anyway, Elias here wants me to walk with him, and we shall see if that is even a thing we should be doing, if you will. Anyway, so, you might ask yourself, who, at that point, would be the opponent for one AJ Styles at Crown Jewel? And guess who came back to attack Destino? One AJ Styles. That's right, the man we thought was injured, Samoa Joe. Now, it's funny because also Lashley, who's replacing John Cena, is also supposedly injured. So, I don't know how reliable those injury reports from those dirt sheets really were, if they're still having matches. Or perhaps they're just going to work injured. I don't really know. So, there was that. They had their Trick or Street fight, their yearly tradition on SmackDown. And the New Day dressed up as the Brood, which was fantastic. Love the Brood. Love the Brood. So, good stuff there. But we got an interesting bit of business, which was building towards something, which is Shane says that whoever gets to the finals in the World Cup tournament on Friday, if you're on SmackDown and you're in the finals and you lose the finals, you are no longer welcome on SmackDown. As in, you're fired. Go to Raw, right? And that's curious. And so I have to imagine that, to me, you don't introduce an angle like that and not actually pay it off. I mean, you could. Obviously, you had Braun do his Braun thing, and he put up his briefcase and then didn't lose it to Owens, right? But I feel like generally, if you have an announced thing like that, then you're going to do the thing, right? Which to me says whoever gets there into the finals and loses is either A, just going to Raw, because Raw, or B, is going to be in a feud with Shane McMahon for a while. Now, could that be Randy Orton? Possible. It definitely won't be Rey Mysterio. I don't see him going to Raw immediately, but I think also the option there is for The Miz, right? Have The Miz go to Raw, since he is so close to the record for that IC title, and put that belt back on The Miz at some point in, say, January, when you're building for Seth and Dean at a Mania or something, right? That's fine. Do that. Have Dean cost Seth the belt when Seth fights The Miz on Raw after The Miz gets fired from SmackDown. Works for me. Works for me. So, there is that. But, again, that is too far out in booking to really kind of get a good handle on, so it's hard to tell what the deal is, Bray Wyatt. It's hard. Referee, get yourself together. Bray Wyatt, you done. Miz, you're next. Oh, missed the discus clothesline. Miz too strong. King of safe style. I just beat you yesterday, Miz. I just beat you yesterday. Don't even worry about it. Oh, the world famous yes kicks. Alright, there's that. It's going to happen a little bit here. So, instead of Tye Dillinger on SmackDown, we had Nakamura and R-Truth. And Nakamura is still kind of doing his Nakamura thing. It's fine. Whatever. There was a Becky Lynch promo to help further build her Ronda Rousey match. Fine. Sure. And you had a tag team main event featuring all 4 men who were going to be in that World Cup tournament. And significantly here, Joe, no, I didn't want to fight Joe. I didn't want to fight Joe. What do you know? Significantly, Randy Orton busting out multiple RKOs in that endeavor. Which, the whole point of him in that heel run, which got him further over as a heel, was not doing the RKO. So if you noticed, the crowd popped for those pretty hard because, you know, the crowd pops for the RKO. That's kind of the whole thing there. So, I don't know on that. Like, alright, Randy, like, you're kind of defeating the whole point of you being a good heel, which is not using the moves that fans are going to cheer for. So, it is what it is, though. Gonna do what you're gonna do. Gotta do what you gotta do. Miz, get away from me. Go bother Elias and Braun Strowman. Good God Almighty. Leave me alone, Brainbuster. Unless you want a slug splitter, Miz. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Oh, tapped out. Elias. Really, Miz? Really, Miz? This is what you're gonna do? How about no? How about no, Miz? How about arm drag, Miz? How about deal with Braun Strowman, Miz? Seriously. Hey, Miz. Hey, Miz. You mizzed, if you will. And Braun just holding up Joe for reasons. And they dropped him. I don't know what happened there. Like, why pick up and then drop him? I don't. It's a video game. Joe, what the hell, man? Seriously. What? Oh, my face! My hat! What are you doing, man? This is an absolute cluster, and I don't like it. Joe! Alright. Now, we would imagine that Braun here would easily dispatch of The Miz, and I will hopefully take care of Joe. And that leaves the first two as the last two, as you might imagine it would, in this kind of match, because, you know, booking, if you will. But hey, you never know. Miz can do to the impossible here. He could totally take out Braun Strowman, who's been in there as long as I have, so there is that. Joe versus that. 2. Nope, you didn't do it, Miz. You didn't do it. Sucks to be you. And I can't have a move here. So I gotta get my stamina back here for my slug floater on Mr. Joe. On Mr. Joe. Or Salt Shaker. Whoa! Hold on a minute, playa. Miz just pinned Braun Strowman. That just happened. I missed all of that. What the hell? What the hell? How does that make any sense in the world for anything? Of anything? Of anything? Alright, well. Okay. Hey, Miz, go. Yes, you do that, Miz. Oh, come on, Miz. Come on, Miz. He's so overconfident now that he pinned Braun Strowman. He's going to go after Buzz because we have a history. A history of me taking his IC title, and The Miz hits his neckbreaker. Miz House of Fire here. I am shocked. Shocked and surprised at how well The Miz is doing right now. But there's always Joe. There's always Joe. Really, Joe? Really? Nah. How about no? How about no? How about the opposite of yes? Bust you open, toss you back in the ring, and you deal with the A-lister and not the attack slug. Oh, into the pod. Into the pod, Miz. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Wait, Miz just stole the slug's floater. Oh my God, he did he did the thing. He did it. Oh, it's not good. It's not good. I just lost. Miz taps to Joe, and it's down to Slug and Joe. And I am up in the numbers. Can I defeat the submission machine? Is it possible? Is it possible? I don't want to lose again for another 20 minutes of match here. I really don't, Joe. I really don't want to lose again. I don't have time today. I got more things to film. Got more things to do, Mr. Joe. Slug Sploder on Joe. Let's go to that pin here and hope that's enough. It might not be, but we'll hope for it. 2. That was enough. Okay. And new Universal Champion.
This has overcome all odds, including everything Triple H could possibly throw at him, to become the new Universal Champion.
Now what, game? Now what?
That is one of the most impressive, gutsy performances I have ever seen. Buzz has earned the right to be called the new monster among men. Not to sound trite, but this will be a moment that people are buzzing about for years to come.
Shut up, Cole.
Better than that, Cole.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. The next night,
The new Universal Champion
I'm on the
has
truck.
arrived. And apparently he upgraded his ride. Who puts a giant picture of themselves on their own tour bus? Hey, you would do the same thing if you had a tour bus.
Shut up, Saxton. Being champion's already gone to this guy's head.
Buzz will make his first appearance as Universal Champion later tonight on Raw.
selfie with the hair streak. It's pretty funny. Fella! Chapter 12 rewards. Why is Kurt Angle on my bus? So from the back of my van to the back of a tour bus, not a bad deal. But it is the end of the episode, which means emails and podcasts. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. See you next time, right here on this channel. And I'm out.
What you overcame to win the Universal title was amazing. I'm so proud of you, Buzz. And I know I haven't gotten a single response from you in almost a year, but I'm going to keep calling, and I'm going to keep on texting, because I still have hope that we can someday patch things up. Anyway, until then, know that I'm in your corner. From a distance.
From a distance. Shut up, Baron Blade. Amazing win, Buzz. You're going to be a heck of a champion. Looking forward to see what... You're right here, Kurt. Like, okay. Congrats on your huge win. Thanks, Daniel Bryan. What an effort to walk out with the title. It was too sweet. Thanks, Finn Balor. Now, AJ Styles, way to go, champ, is the current Mr. Money in the Bank. You think about that. Congrats on being the luckiest champion in history, Miz. You're welcome.
Well, he's done it, ladies and gentlemen. There is no bigger story right now to discuss than Buzz winning the Universal title. And this was no fluke, okay? He won the title in an Elimination Chamber match where he was the first entrant along with none other than Braun Strowman. When you take a step back, it's truly remarkable to think about what Buzz has accomplished in such a short amount of time. I mean, if it feels like he just got to the WWE, it's because he did. In fact, in preparing for today's show, I looked at some of the names that have climbed to the top of the mountain in record speed like Buzz now has.
Brock.
I mean, we're talking some heavy hitters here, folks. Hall of Fame level talent. The Undertaker, he won his first world title a little over a year after making his WWE debut. That was longer than it took Buzz. Kurt Angle, took him less than a year to win the title, but still longer than Buzz. There are a few guys you might have heard of that did it just a little bit faster. Big Show, Kane, Brock Lesnar, and a guy by the name of Ric Flair. I mean, that's pretty good company, if you ask me. But if I have one piece of advice for the new champion, it's that just because people like me can now mention you in the same breath as those legends, it does not mean you're their equal yet, all right? One win does not define a career. So celebrate the moment, but be ready, because it's only going to get harder from now on. If you thought there was a target on your back before, it's now 100 times bigger with that Universal title strapped around your waist. Success breeds jealousy from all corners of your life. And I'd also be willing to bet that none of this is going to sit well with Triple H, who by all accounts is feeling a bit perturbed, to say the least. Good luck, Buzz, and congrats on your first Universal title reign, which if all goes well, I am sure will be the first of many.